Grand Rising. It is time we talk about intermittent fasting. For me, this is long overdue. So let's get into it. What is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting, as the name suggests, is you go for periods of time consuming and periods of time fasting. We have two different types of intermittent fasting. One is you go on a wet intermittent fast. So let's say you go on water for 16 hours, then you eat food, solid food for 8 hours. Some people like to do intermittent fasting on coconut water and liquid fruit and vegetable juices. And then we have dry intermittent fasting, so basically nothing. You don't consume anything for a period of time. Now I have to say, intermittent fasting has been taking off, and I'm really glad to see this. This is one of those good fads, you know. It's like you get 10 fads, and only like you get 9 of them are just trash, and then you get that one odd good fad, 1 out of 10, right? And that's one of those hit, the ones that hit a good fad, intermittent fasting. So salute and shout out to all the people that are improving their health and getting into intermittent fasting. So now I do want to talk about a few things here. First of all, I do want to talk about the logic behind intermittent fasting. So in the modern world, we have an insane abundance of food and food-like substances. Don't kid yourself for a second and think the Cheetos and the Doritos and the Lay's you're eating is food. That's food-like substance. Okay? So we have an abundance of those food and food-like substances. And our bodies are just getting overwhelmed by that because if you look at our bodies and their design, first of all, our bodies aren't designed to eat that much, period. Our stomach is pretty small. It's the size of a fist. Okay? Why do we get drowsy after eating a big meal? We're not supposed to eat a big meal, period. In fact, at this point, food isn't giving you energy. If something weights you down and you need to take a nap and you need to close your eyes and you're yawning, that's not giving you energy. That's taking energy away from you. So clearly to me, it's clear, it's obvious. Human body isn't supposed, the calories thing is a myth. Human body is not supposed to be eating all that much food and food-like substances. But due to this abundance, this overwhelming, shocking abundance of food and food-like substances, our nervous system, our bodies are being absolutely run down, absolutely overwhelmed, absolutely broken down because of all the stuff we're putting in, all the food. So you get all kinds of myth. You need this amount of calories. You need to have 3 meals a day, and it used to be 6 meals a day. If you're a bodybuilding gym bro, I used to eat 6 meals a day when I was a gym bro. And it's insane, man. It's insanity. And to add insult to injury, the types of foods people are eating, the density, the toxicity, the poisons that are in the foods these days. It's like adding insult to injury. It's like not only are you eating a ton, not only are you overwhelming your body, and humans just bought into a lot of the nutrition myths, but you're also eating the wrong kinds of foods also. And you're snacking in between, and oh yeah, it's just a little snack. Just a bag of Lay's, no big deal, right? Just coated with salt, fried with oil, with like a really addictive substances in there, by the way, that keep you wanting. You ever wonder why when you start to eat chips, you just want to keep eating them forever? You feel like you literally can't eat them forever. There's some addictive chemicals being put in there. So it seems to me that intermittent fasting is rather a natural state of being for the human. It seems to me that humans are naturally designed to go for long periods of time, at least for the majority of the day and for many days, without eating, without food, and with not much water neither. It seems to me that's pretty much the natural, an optimal design for the human body. And I'm not gonna even like go all breatharian on you guys right now, okay? Because in all truths, it's more of like we're a hybrid. You don't even have to put fossil fuels in there. You could just install your solar panels by meditating and sleeping and doing all these other things. But we're not talking about that here, okay? I was reading, anyway, we'll talk about it another, but I just want to bring it. I was reading an article today how this Finnish company from Finland is now able to create protein out of thin air. You know, our bodies can create anything out of thin air. Anyway, not the point here. Okay, you don't have to go far, you know, into this breatharian stuff. Stick with me with the intermittent fasting, and let's talk about that, because that's already an amazing thing to do. So it's pretty obvious. Human body just gets overwhelmed when you have too much food, and it's pretty obvious. Stomach the size of a fist. We're not supposed to eat much. So that seems to be the way humans lived for a long time. No problem. You're living in nature. It's just you go for periods without. There's nothing out there. It's dry season. You know, I was watching an animal series documentary last month, like a big series, and dry season is pretty common in nature, and animals just don't have much to eat, and they just go through periods of little to no eating. And it seems to me that humans have done that for a long time. So now, with all this modern abundance of food and food-like substances, it seems to me now that we have to restrain ourselves, we have to discipline ourselves with intermittent fasting, simply to bring the body back to its natural state. That's simply, it's our ancestors did it just because that's how they lived. Okay, they didn't have to intermittent fast. Intermittent fasting was ingrained, integrated, part of the daily life. But now it seems to me that we have to take this measure. It seems to me we just have to do it. Like we have to now discipline ourselves. Our ancestors did not have to discipline themselves. Nature did that bidding for them. But we have to discipline ourselves. And so it seems to me that it's pretty crucial for all of us to intermittent fast, some kind of intermittent fast. Okay, some kind of it, something. Just at the very least, go half a day without eating. At the very least, 12 hours. That's the bare minimum, guys. The bare minimum. And I would say that's just simply where you start. And that's how I would start if I was you. If you wanted to get intermittent fasting, just go 12 hours, water. Don't drink. Don't eat. Just drink water. Okay? Now, the way I kind of been in this lifestyle for some time now. I started with 12 hours for a couple of weeks. Then I went into 16. 16 water, 8 hours of eating. I would have 2 meals. One at the beginning of the 8-hour window, one towards the end. The rest of the time, I would drink water. I did this for a year. Then I started to do 18-6. Did that for some time. Moved into 24. So 20 hours of water, 4 hours of eating. And I would have still 2 meals, just more condensed. And then I started doing OMAD for a while. I started doing OMAD. And I still, for the most part, I'm a practitioner of OMAD now. I eat once a day. And for the rest of the time, I don't drink water anymore. I drink... I'll show you guys. I got a lot of cucumbers in there. Can you see them? I drink cucumber juice. I really like cucumber juice these days. See that? It's better water. It's distilled water. It's way more hydrating than just regular water. Okay? It's just so much more hydrating. So I intermittent fast now pretty much on fruit juice. And I try to stick to, for the most part, coconut water and cucumber juice. They're not as aggressive on the body. They're lower in sugar content. They're just not aggressive. Okay? I put some limes and some lemons in the cucumber. Really delicious. And I'm going to get into doing the mint thing. Mint, cucumber, lime, or lemon. So anyway, yeah, I eat about once a day, small meal. My meals are tiny meals. And let me tell you, you know, I feel much better. I feel much better this way. Okay? And I've been doing this for some time. I don't do it every day, but most days I would say I OMAD. Most days. And yeah, I try to eat light foods on that meal, you know. I don't really do these days. I mean, it changes. Like last month it was different, the month before was different, the month before was different. I'm mostly liquid based anyway, so those OMAD meals are tiny meals. So because I'm not craving fruits, because I can just, if I want a fruit, I could juice it. I could juice a pineapple. I could juice grapes. I juiced grapes yesterday. I'll just have like potatoes, steamed vegetables or something in small quantities. So, but I have been working my way up here, and I've been reducing for years now, and I've been doing intermittent fasting for years. Okay? You will notice many benefits. Now let's talk about the benefits. First of all, your skin is clearer. It's just your skin gets cleared up. Your skin clears up, and you feel over time less thirsty because the body has more time available, more chance to heal, to cleanse. And the other thing is, so yeah, that's what this talking about in this point is the cleansing. The cleansing abilities of the body are enhanced due to intermittent fasting. The body has more time to heal itself. And so what happens over time is your thirst goes down. You get thirsty because the body wants to cleanse or process the food you just ate and cleanse itself out of the toxicity. So when you're intermittent fasting, your body has more time to heal and cleanse, and over time you get less thirsty. You get less thirsty, which is a nice feeling. And you really, when you start to intermittent fast, you really start to come to the realization that, first of all, you get one meal to eat. But because your stomach kind of has the time to just, because the stomach, we stretch it, we stretch our everything, our intestines, our organs, everything has to stretch. So when you're intermittent fasting and the longer the period you go without eating, everything just kind of shrinks back to its natural size. So you start to realize even your one meal a day, you can't eat that much. Just like our ancestors. They didn't eat that much. They ate when they had food available, and sometimes they didn't have it for days. And when they did, sometimes, okay, they feasted. They didn't have food for 3 days. They feasted, right? But you start to notice, especially as you get into OMAD territory, like, you can't even eat that much in that one meal. You just can't eat that much. Because humans are not supposed to eat that much, man. Okay, we operate best. Our bodies are very efficient, very amazing vehicles, very amazing organisms, very efficient. And when your body gets clean and efficient, you just give it a little bit, it extracts energy out of it. It extracts nutrients out of it. The other thing, you can eat all day, but if your intestines are clogged up, your absorption rate is poor. You're not absorbing the foods you're eating. You're not. You have malabsorption, okay? So there are many benefits. The other thing is more clarity in the mind. You see, because all that energy, instead of constantly digesting and cleaning and cleansing, it starts to flow up there to the higher chakras, right? To the throat chakra. So if you're a creative person and you use your throat like I do, you notice your creativity increases the less you eat. And the less frequently you eat, you begin. So my gift in the world is speech, yeah? It's speech. That's my gift. My gift are these videos. I am a public speaker. That's what I do. I'm a public speaker. That's my thing. That's my dharma. So if you're someone whose gift is in here, you'll notice clarity in the mind. You'll notice you speak with more clarity. If you're someone that's an artist, the energy is all right here anyway. Your creativity begins to increase. You see, all those energies from the root and especially if you're combining it with nofap, starts to flow up there. So your creativity increases, your mood improves, and just more clarity of thought. You're thinking clearer, you're more creative, you're more concise with your words, you're more concise with your art, you're more coherent with everything, you're more organized. And then you have the freedom not to think about food all day. Like, it's so freeing, man. It's so freeing. Imagine thinking about food all day. That's terrible. That's animal consciousness. That's animal consciousness. Just survival. Eat, shit, sleep, mate when it's time to mate, when it's mating season. I mean, that's animal consciousness. Come on. We're here for more than just that. So there are more benefits. I can go on and on, right? So we discussed the reasons to do it. We discussed the benefits, and there are more benefits, but I'll leave it at that here. Now, I want to talk about how to do it. So we talked a little bit how to do it. You go progressively into it. So which intermittent fasting should you do? Well, start with wet intermittent fasting. Well, I don't say water now because I honestly, like, you know, if you drink coconut water, it might as well be water, but it's just better water, right? Cucumber juice, and then for the brave souls out there, urine therapy. You can do urine. Okay, I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying you could. Okay, so yeah, I'm just calling it wet fasting. So start with that. Don't go into intermittent dry fasting just yet. Don't do it just yet. Okay. Once you start to get comfortable, so start with 12, move into 14, 16, 8, 18, 6. If I was you, I would try to go progressively and slowly all the way to OMAD. OMAD's wonderful. It's freeing because it's free. You just have one meal. The rest, you get the rest of the day to do stuff, to live life. Yeah? I would work your way up there, but just get comfortable according to your lifestyle, right? According to where you want to take this. I mean, I personally want to take this whole thing as far as breatharianism goes. So For me, OMAD is a stepping stone. How far you want to take this? Maybe 18:6 works out best for your lifestyle. Do it on wet first, have liquids, and then I would start to slowly shift into dry fasting. That's where the really magic starts to happen. Okay, for me, when I say OMAD, I did not mention that on most days I intermittent dry fast as well. On average, these days, if I had to average the last 2 months, I would say, and I don't do it every day, but I would say my average was 18 hours of dry fasting and about 22 hours of wet fasting every single day. Every day on average, not every single day. I would have maybe 1 or 2 days a week where I would break the rules, okay? If I had to, but I've been working to this for years now, for years, guys, for years. And for me, this is all just working itself into Fruitarianism ultimately, okay? So, but you have to just see where do you want to take this? Take this as far as you want. Intermittent dry fasting is really amazing. I love the state of dry. I love working out dry. I love walking dry. I love taking cold showers dry. By the way, today is one of the days I'm breaking the rules. I had something to drink now. Just because it's a weird day. I woke up at 3 a.m. and anyway. But yeah, dry is amazing. I love taking cold showers when I'm like deep 18 hours into a dry fast, because sometimes I'll go 21, 22 hours. It's amazing. You feel you're so more sensitive to everything, right? You're really sensitive. And after a while of doing intermittent dry fasting, you don't really get thirsty anymore. It's still there. You get a little dry mouth, but you're not thirsty. You could work out, you could go for walks, you could just live normal life. So slowly work your way into that, right? Intermittent dry fasting is a common thing in nature. Many animals do it by necessity. Okay? I don't like to use animals as the reference point because they do a lot of dumb shit. They're like children, but we can learn stuff from them too. We're like teenagers and they're children, but that's one thing they do well. They intermittent dry fast, not just intermittent wet fast, but they by necessity. A lot of them they intermittent dry fast, right? Especially depending on the season. Sometimes when it's dry season, especially, right? Yeah, we're capable of a lot, but this unnatural abundance, overwhelming, shocking abundance of food, and I would say even water perhaps, right? But food, let's stick to food for now. It's too much, man. It's too much. So work your way up there slowly. Let the body will start to cleanse itself the longer you go. In the beginning, whenever you prolong the time, there is about a week where you're gonna just feel a little weak because your body just has more time to detox, right? So for instance, if let's say you decide to go into 12 hours, 12 hours is not that much, right? You sleep 8 hours, you're already intermittent dry fasting for 8. Let's say you go 12 on wet. You wake up, you drink, 4 hours after you wake up, you eat. That's normal. Anybody can do that. But let's say you go into 16 from there. In the beginning, you'll feel a little weaker. Just the first week or so. Feel a little weaker. The body's got to detox. Then feel nice. Then when you start feeling nice, more clarity, you don't want to go back. You don't want to go back. You just do 16 hours every day. And whenever you do break it, you're like, I don't feel as good, right? And then let's say you go from 16 to 20, you'll definitely feel even weaker for the first little while. And then you feel, again, no problem. And then you go into OMAD, you do OMAD. When I first went into OMAD, I was feeling weak for a good, 2 weeks. The body's now detoxing. You're giving it 23 hours here, detox. Especially if you're eating lighter meals for that one meal. But after a while, you feel good. You don't want to do anything else but OMAD, and you just go on living life normally. You work out, you do everything. And same thing with dry fasting. Let's say you start at 16, you're going to be thirsty the first week. Usually it takes about a week or so. Then you're good. You're not thirsty anymore. You wake up, you're ready to go. I wake up most days, I'm ready to go. Cold shower, walk. I'm not saying I wake up just not tired, but I'm saying I'm ready to go. I wake up, man, I'm like this, my body's still detoxing, blah, blah. But I'm ready, as in that's it. I don't feel like I need a drink, okay? Just hop in, take a cold shower, go work out, go for a walk, right? Come back, and sometimes I make videos, I'm still dry fasting. Okay, because I just feel so nice, but that doesn't happen every day. But I'm saying it gets better. It gets better as time goes on, right? If I dry fast consistently without cheating, for like 7 days in a row. By like the 7th day, I'm feeling really amazing. Really, really amazing. Less thirst, more clarity. But this is not always the case, not every day, right? There are days I wake up, I am thirsty. My body has a lot of detoxification it's doing, and I wake up and I'm thirsty. And sometimes I do break it, and sometimes I just let it ride. I just say, all right, we're still doing this, and I let it ride, and by the time it's time for me to drink, I'm like really thirsty, okay? So, but some days, it gets better as time goes on. Everything gets better. You know how it is with habits, right? It gets better as you do more and more of it. And I'm dabbling more and more with intermittent dry fasting, and I find I really get the best benefits when I do it consistently, right? I haven't done it now for the last couple of days, 2-3 days. I haven't really done it. I've been doing more like 14 hours. I don't really consider that anymore. For me, anything less than 18 hours, I don't really consider it in my mind intermittent dry fasting, just because it's so easy for me now to do 14, 16. When I talk now about intermittent fasting, I'm talking 18 hours plus, okay? But in the beginning, even 14 hours was challenging, man. Now it's just the way it is. I don't even think about it, right? 14 hours is just a standard day for me. I consider that a day that I'm not intermittent dry fasting. I don't consider it intermittent dry fasting. I consider it just another day, 14 hours. But in the beginning, it was tough. So everything gets better as you go. If you feel a little weak, that's okay. Just stick to it for a week. Don't go too much. Don't go from like just no intermittent fasting to like 20-hour intermittent dry fasting every day. It's gonna be a struggle for you. Even 20-hour water fasting, water intermittent fasting, it's gonna be a struggle for you, okay? If you're just going from no background, just go slowly, yeah? And like I said, you get a little weaker in the beginning, then you actually get stronger after. What else? So that's one thing. I think there was one more thing, man, I wanted to cover. I can't remember one more thing. In regards to intermittent fasting. Let me pause this for a second. If I can't remember, we'll end the video. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anything else to say, so we'll finish the video here. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. Thank you. I appreciate the support also from our generous donors. God bless you guys. If you there's a little cutie here in the heart that's saying, hey, maybe you should donate. Maybe you should donate. You can do it down below in the description. You don't have to though. Just watch these videos. God bless you. I also offer consulting services, one-on-one consulting services. Down below in the description is the link for it if you want to book a call. Anything else? No? Saeed Mobayed on Instagram, and until next time, may the force be with you.